Hello, namaste. Greetings from ICAR ARS. I hope everybody is fine and safe during this tough time of this pandemic. But as we know that the ARS examination is approaching very soon, and everybody must be studying very hard for this examination. So that's why today I thought of delivering some tips and tricks for you. This is my own way of studying. It may not be applicable for everybody, but you can give it a try. It will really help you to read and study and let you to understand what this examination is. So let's start. So let's start discussing about the tips and tricks important for the ARS preparation. Before I start this video, I would like to put a disclaimer that these are the points that help me to study effectively in a very smarter way, and therefore it may not be applicable to you, but definitely it will help you to understand the whole ARS preparation syllabus, and in order to make you study effectively in this whole process. And they are based completely on my personal experiences, and these are some of the suggestions given by my father. So shall we start then? So the first point is you have to get the syllabus. The syllabus is included in the ICAR notification. So whenever there is a notification for ARS, whether it's 2021 or 20, there is a whole syllabus at its student notification. If you are unable to get the syllabus, you can download it from the ICAR website, but be sure that you are collecting the latest syllabus. After having the syllabus, you print out the syllabus and you try to stick in the walls of your hostel room or in your room, and you try to take out some prints, also extra prints, so that you can carry while you are reading in the library, or when you are practicing in the laboratory, when you have free time in the laboratory to study for that. Always try to stick to the syllabus. It has a meaning because the syllabus is prepared very systematically with some sections, some themes. So you try to understand that what the syllabus is containing. You try to read it very thoroughly, and finally you'll get an understanding that what the syllabus is about. So the first point is, let's make some notes. I mean your own notes. For me, the personal experience is so good that I've made my own notes. I never try to consult our seniors' notes, even though I took some notes from my seniors or those people who have cracked ARS. I never try to consult it because making your own notes will help you in a different way. I'll try to discuss this in the future slides. So the first point for the notes preparation is make your own notes, and second is you try to collect several books that are approved by teachers and scientists. In your discipline, there must be a variety of books available both in internet as well as in offline. You should buy those books which are of very high quality. It has to be approved by your teachers or by scientists, because there are other lot of books which contains a lot of misinformation, and that might mislead you very differently while you prepare for ARS. So first of all, you buy some good notebooks. Try to purchase blank notebooks because you are going to make figures, flow charts. So it's more visible when you buy blank notebooks rather than buying a line notebook. Write your name in the first page with a small inspiring note. It seems kind of crazy, but it really works, because having your name in your notebook with a very small inspiring quote, that means that that notebook belongs to you, and that's the starting of a journey that you are going to make soon. So that reminds you that you have a goal in your life. So that's wonderful. Then you can start with the first chapter in the syllabus. For example, your chapter name is Metagenomics and Soil Science. You try to read Metagenomics and Soil Science from all the books you have. Only this chapter, Metagenomics in Soil Science. And you try to make notes in your notebook. How you're going to make notes in your notebook? Let's try to see. Try to read the sentences in the book. You try to understand it and you write in your own language. Never try to use very complicated phrases or academic words that might confuse you or that might confuse the reviewer also. So if a paragraph looks like a stepwise process, you try to convert into a flowchart. Or if a paragraph seems like a description of a component, for example, the components of a spectrophotometer, you try to convert into figures so that you can write the answers in less time, as well as you can portray and you can highlight those informations that you want to say to the reviewer. The point is, make the reviewer know that you know the concept, you understand this concept, and you don't make him or her confused. I personally use a lot of colors in my notebooks because colors help you to remember a lot. It makes you to remember a lot. It makes you to have a very clean notebook. It decorates your notebook. That's why when you feel like reading it, so it helps you. It looks attractive to you. So for color pens, I use blue for general points, and for the important points that I want to highlight, for example, there is a reaction and one catalyst I'm putting it. So I want to highlight the specific role of that catalyst. Then I can highlight with red color. And if I'm getting some extra points, extra information from papers or from podcasts or anywhere where I'm getting it, I can highlight with green color, and those are the figures I'm making with black color. So when you make notes, you try to put the short sentences as much as possible. You make it more crisp and more short, but beware and you should be very sure that you should not never leave the keywords. The keywords are very important. You must be understanding when you read a sentence, you will come to know that these are the keywords that I have to include in this study, in this line. So you never try to leave those keywords, but try to avoid unnecessary jargons, unnecessary terms which is not at all important for that sentence or for that meaning. For the information, I would like to divide the whole information into 3 parts. 90% you get it from the high quality books, 8% from the internet information, but please be sure that you are getting the information from a very authentic and a very well corrected quality content, because there are huge material in internet and it's very difficult to segregate which one is good and which one is not. So please be aware of what information you are procuring from the internet. And finally, the objective book after studying, but you try to see the objective books only after finishing all the chapters or even one chapter, because there are a lot of mistakes in objective books, most of the objective books, and there are 2 problems associated with objective books. Number 1 is there are 4 choices given, minimum there are 4 choices given. So you stick to these 4 choices only, you know these 4 choices. And if another correct answer is out of these 4 choices, then you will get confused. And second of all, there are a lot of mistakes in objective books. So if you are misled by the wrong information, then you might be in problem. So you try to consult the objective books only after studying completely. You have internet connection from your cellular networks or Wi-Fi, and we can use this internet pack very wisely, I think, in this ARS preparation. Internet is a wonderful place to get a lot of information, and for example, there was a chapter on mass spectroscopy in soil science, so it was very difficult to study because I was unable to understand what the writer means and what that paragraph means. So I referred to YouTube. So when I type mass spectroscopy in YouTube, there was a very good animated video in which they have explained very clearly about the principles of mass spectroscopy and how it works and what are the components. So I was very clear with it. Then I made my own notes, I made my own figures from it, and that question came in my mains and it really helped me out. So is this enough? If you ask me, then I think it's not that enough, I feel, because there are a lot of information, important information that you can gather from research papers or articles from other books or from internet, but be sure that you all complete the syllabus, and after that you search for the new extra information, because a lot of the books that you will be referring will also be referred by your competitors. That's why in order to have an extra knowledge, you can refer all this extra additional information. So you have the notes, you're ready with your notes, the notes are beautiful, so you can start studying. So how to start studying? You start with the toughest chapter you don't like, because everybody has their own chapter which you don't like. For me, pathology was something which I don't even want to start. So I started with pathology. For example, you have a chapter A that you don't like from your book. So start with chapter A. You read this chapter A today, then tomorrow morning when you read chapter B, read chapter A before chapter B. Then you will get a feeling, oh, I have forgotten it again. I have read this one yesterday itself. I don't know why I'm forgetting it. Don't worry, these are just a common, problems for everybody who are preparing for ARS. We tend to forget, some information, but most of the information will be retained. Don't worry. And then the next day, when you read chapter number C, try to read chapter number A and B before chapter number C. On the side by side, you collect some rough papers in which you keep on jotting down with your favorite pen the keywords, the figures, the flowchart, you can jot down in order to increase your speed of writing. For me personally, I try to use the same pen which I used to use during the mains, because it helps me to increase my speed, because I know how to hold that pen, I know how to write fast with that pen. So it has a, it became a habit for me to choose a pen. So it seems crazy, I know, but you can do it in your own terms. So there is a method called 25/5 method. You can follow it, it's not compulsory. But for me it really worked well, because it's 25 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of rest. There are a lot of apps in both Android as well as in iOS that offers this kind of method, like very systematic reading. You will have a great time doing like this, because 25 minutes you will read and 5 minutes you will say, oh, I'm also taking rest. But on the process you will think that I haven't given more time in reading, but at the end of the day you will come to know that your brain has retained a lot of information, and this allows the brain to take rest in between and to keep as much information that you have studied in one day. So you can try. After finishing the syllabus, you can read some current issues that might come in the mains as well as interview, such as advances in climate change, etc. And in the mains, you always try to stick to your time. Never try to put your more time in what you don't know, but you also try to attempt all question in mains. This is some of the points that you can do in mains exam. So if you finally come to interview, there are some of the points that I divide into two sections. Number one is before the interview, and number two is during the interview. So before the interview, you try to clear your concepts. You try to know your masters as well as your PhD research, because if they ask you what are the take-home messages and why are you doing this matches, what are the research gaps in those researches, you need to answer it very clearly, because you own them, you own that research, both the masters as well as the PhD research. And you try to have a very clear vision if they ask you that why you want to become an agriculture scientist. Otherwise nobody wants to recruit a person without a clear vision. And you try to update yourself with information on current agriculture, small topics which is very related with your discipline also. It's very important. But during the interview, I think everybody loves to see a very smiling face and a very strong and very confident personality. So you try to maintain that. And I feel we should never panic in front of the board. You sit very straight, but try to be a little bit relaxed yourself, and you control your mind what to say and what not to say. And if you don't know the answer, please be sincere enough to pass that question, because they are all experts, they understand it. And you should speak very clearly, and it should be audible to them. Otherwise whatever information you have might not reach them. And never try to get intimidated with the colleagues sitting next to you, because they might be reading there, they might be studying some points, and you feel that okay, I haven't read that point. You put yourself in a very calm manner and try to proceed yourself as a very calm person, and try to address each of this question by thinking very nicely but very promptly. So these are some of the points I have for the ARS preparation. And if you want to know further information and if you want to contact me, then you're welcome. And I hope that this ARS exam proves very good, very well to you, and all the best to all the students who are preparing for the ARS examination. Thank you.